See, another thing is that nations that you want to take back your nation, it is not impossible. It's not a difficult thing. And I want you to listen to this. See, you have a covenant with God, okay? And your covenant is to put God first and love God with all your heart, soul, and put no other gods before you. Before God, okay? No other gods before. And putting your fear is don't be fear with this, because God has a responsibility also. God has a responsibility also to you, and he never forsakes us. Just because he's God and he's a sovereign God, he makes all the rules and regulations. He has a responsibility, and he's always followed through on that. So you have to be more positive, but the only way that he could do that, because remember, he has to go to the Father, and the Father of Abraham, this Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, they all work together. But Jesus is the intercessory to God the Father to pray for us. But I want to tell you that, again, I'll repeat if you don't understand, or just, I'm sure you do. I mean, you know English, but just to empower you more, and I'll repeat it again. God has a responsibility. It's a business contract of a covenant, but it's also spiritual. And so do you, but you have to follow justice. You have to follow justice. You have to put God first and love God with all your heart and soul, and put no other gods before thee. And that means you can't make low laws that torture the people of your country. You can't make low laws that control them, that control every move, like that lady said that you're going to make all the digital this and digital that. And you have to make the highest justice. And you also have the covenant with God, okay? That if you don't do these things that you're supposed to do to love God with all your heart, soul, and in seeking the 10 commandment, but that first commandment and the second commandment, to love your neighbor as yourself, because you're going to make laws for the people, but are you going to follow those laws? Are you going to be tortured up? And this is why you need to change the laws swiftly. And I'm talking about the protesters that are Islamic regime. Because if you don't make new laws, and UK doesn't take over, they'll take over your nation, and you won't even have a police. They won't be able to walk the streets. See, and I was right. Remember I said that? I was right again. I said that if you don't change and protect the people, that you won't even be able to walk the streets. And that's what's happening. The poor police. And here they're supporting you, and the poor police, the British police, are only doing their job. But because we're in an intermittent of restoration right here. Do you understand? And I said they wouldn't even be able to walk the streets, because the president can't walk the streets right now with the protesters, correct? And his family, I said they wouldn't even be able to walk the streets. It's in my Bible. It's in the Bible anyways, but it's in my book. It was a warning for you. Okay, so and this is what happened to America too, but we're cleaning it up. So what you need to do now is you need to let the protesters protest, and you need to support the British people. They go first. The immigrants are important, okay? But you don't go by their laws, and you can't teach Islamic teaching in the school. You take it out. You give that money to support the people that are British. And you cannot give monies to British people that live there that get all the social money for free. They have to work. Those people have to work. That's why they want social money, because they want to stay home and take care of their kids and have many kids and take over your whole place. Do you get it? I know you know, but I'm just telling you to repeat, because I told you it was pre-planned. Do you understand? So you need to make new laws, and you let the protesters protest, but you could calm them down by new laws by taking all the Islamic people out that are criminals out of your jails everywhere, and the ones that protest and you think that they're high protesters out, and then the ones that need citizenship, and if they work, then you give them citizenship. But the ones that you're giving social work to, they have to do work. Your place needs to be fixed up anyways. I told you what to do. You need to do agriculture. You could do AI buildings. You could make manufacturing, and they're responsible to do work. If you're going to give them social money, things have changed nowadays. We have to do that in America now. And I'm not talking about retired people. And the retired people, I think they should do something too. If they're not invalid, if they are healthy enough, whether it's to make something or learn a computer system to do something for the government, and they get paid. All those people that get social system needs to be paid. But now, who's going to watch all their children, correct? They're all at home. But the ones that the children are old enough, they should be working. But I would make new laws about social systems, and I wouldn't get any more people to come in. They can't come in. But I would bring all the people out that were protesters and bring them back to their country. It's a very serious thing. But all these people that have social services, that have all these kids, you can't give them any more. You can't give them any more if they have kids. We can't pay for any more children. Okay, they could go to their country and have their children there. Did you hear what I said? You're not responsible for them to have children. They're using you. I talked about that. I talked about that in my book. And that's why Italian people don't have children. They respect their country. They respect themselves because it costs so much money to have a child. So if they want more children without being paid for it, they need to do it in their country. And no Islamic regime teaching in the schools at all. So I'll go back. The covenant is, and this is a true covenant in God. We live in the covenant, and we have the covenant too in America. We have the first presidential prayer of Congress in 1774. And it's true, it's not made up, that we're obedient to God's will of his rules and regulations in the Bible and respect him. And then he'll protect us. But you need to put we put Americans first now, but you need to put the UK people first, and you need to not teach Islamic in the schools. There's only small amount of people. There's millions and millions of UK, but a small amount of these Islamic people. In all those areas, they have all those leaders. The leaders are all Islamic in all those top areas. And once they go out, I would not, they can't have any more Islamic leaders ever. Once they leave and they get new ones, no Islamic leaders should be a leader of those areas in UK. They all have to be British. Just like Maloney said, when the president or any leaders like that, they have to be Italian. She's right. She's in very good points. Very serious. But her book, my book, Arise to God's Truth, is just like what she does. It's odd. It's funny. But it's not odd because I'm Italian and I prayed for America and I prayed for Italy to bring a great, great person there to protect it. So it's really not odd. It's true. My prayer came true. God gave me my prayer because I prayed for Italy to be a great leader. Did you know that? The way she is exactly the way my book is, Arise to God's Truth. And so she just like she said, and she's not an older politician, so she thinks progressively, which is needed. And so she did say no leaders should be in a different nationality. It has to be Italian. And when all those other ones leave, in those different areas that are all Muslim, a Muslim cannot be a leader of the area. There's a smaller amount of Islamic, and there's so many British, and they're trying to take you over, and they will in 10 to 30 years. But they'll if they will not do it, but they will not take you over, because now UK has everything in hand. But that's why you need to follow these directions, because you don't want them to take you over. And they'll bring criminals. They'll use criminals, Hamas, and they'll get money from Qatar. I hate to even mention Qatar, because I thought they were better. And I don't know all the details about Qatar, but I heard that Qatar gave money to Hamas and other things. I heard. Is that true? So this is very serious. And these new laws, with the ID, you better make it right, because God will get mad. God will get mad. I'll never forget a Protestant girl said, "Oh, God doesn't get mad." Yes, he does. And he's very angry. You know why it shows? He's allowed all those protesters to come through. And that's not like them, correct? They never did that in the history of time, correct? UK people never did that in the history of time. See that? God allowed that. God is roaring, not like a lion, but roaring like the roar of the heavens, of creation. He's roaring. He's roaring of the disjustice of creation. That's why he allowed the 110,000 to walk the street. And police just get out of the way, go to the side, let them walk, let them protest. You get new laws, Islamic no schooling, all the criminals out in the jail, they're all Islamic out. No children, they're not allowed to have any children. I don't know what you're going to do if they're citizens. But you can't be giving them money, because that's what they want. I had to learn that. You know what? Someone told me, a man that I work for, the reason why the Mexicans want to come, because they want the children. They use money for the children. Someone had to tell me. I didn't know all the details, but I learned fast, because God tells me the top answer, the top thing, and then they fill it in. Just like when I told what's his name, Elon Musk, could do all those things, and then he fills it in, and then he takes the money. It's bad. He didn't make me put on his team, and I love him very much. I wish I could be his friend, and I love him, even though he did that to me. I still forgive him. But it's too bad, because I could have been writing little things and learning a lot of things, and I would get insight. I would get so much, because I have insight of God. It's a very, very serious thing. You better get going, and you better just let them protest. Please just go to the side and tell them that you're putting UK British people first, and you're not going to make stringent IDs. Otherwise, you're going to have worse problems. Do you hear me? You're going to have worse problems. Because they'll do it, and they have all the right. That's their land. That's not your land. You just became the president. And those poor police that have to deal with it, you're causing the police to be hurt, leader. Treat your police right and tell them the right things to do. Don't make them do things that are incorrect. Let the Protestants just do the protesters just go through, let them protest, but then tell them and it will calm down. It will calm down if you tell them you're not going to make IDs that are unfair. You can't make IDs like that. They have to be regular people. And that you're going to give them what they need. The monies that you're going to get back from no Islamic schools, those should be teaching the history of England. And give money to the British people, the children. And then new law, no leaders could be Islamic or Muslim. None. They can't. They have to be British born to be leaders. Because the thing is, it's not that we're trying to be mean. I'm trying to talk kindergarten here. You know, I'm not trying because to make you understand it. So the kids here too. It's not that I'm trying to be severe, but they live a different culture and believe different systems than you do. So it doesn't fit. Do you get it? And I told you that before. But now I'm trying to get you through the process here on how to deal with it. But I told you, I said you had to deal with it like America is. And then all those people that do the social services, that you give the money, they could do something from the home. Okay? They could have a little garden. You could give them work from the home. They could do computer systems. They could learn AI. And that they have to work for the government to get money from social services. Are you listening? Because they're taking advantage of you. And you can't give them money. If they have a lot of them are citizens. So if they want more children, they're going to have to get less money or work. They're going to have to work. You have to make new laws. Because they use children as bait. That's what the Mexicans did. I didn't know. That's what the Democrats did. They used the Mexicans as bait too for their measuring to get the votes. Did you get it? This is very serious, and you better listen, because if you don't clean this up properly, you're going to have another problem, a revolution. And I don't want my police, my UK police, to be treated terribly because the leaders don't make the right decision. Because the leaders make the wrong decision. Otherwise, you're going to hurt your own police, your own nation. And there's so many more British there that could build your nation. There's only a small group of jihad, Islamic regime people that are terrible, that should be buried. Jesus is mad. He's growling. I hear. He's really mad. And he's mad at the Islamic people to treat his people that way. So I'll repeat, you have a covenant with God. God has a responsibility to take care of you. But you have to put on your side of the covenant, and you to put God first in your life and love God with all your heart and soul. It's not just say hubby-tubby and, oh, I love you very much, God. No, it's by your actions of justice. So what you need to do, I'll repeat, let the protesters just walk through, okay? Walk through nicely, let them protest, and they're going to have to do it because they have to take their land back. This is a spiritual thing too. It's a psychological thing too. And then those poor police that you're treating them so terribly and giving them wrong advice, let them step back. And then you tell the people that I am going to make good ideas, and I'm not going to have a terrible ID that's going to control all your phone, all your medical, all this and that. It's not like you're a huge country that's across the world. And use that damn money to build up businesses for your agriculture and your science and your children's schooling, because you need to have new schooling. I told you that for every country to be restored. And you're not going to teach Islamic in the schools. It's taken out. And anybody that wants to go to the Islamic schools and you're paying your social services, they cannot, you have to take money away from the social services. If you find out that they go to those schools. In any schools that is Islamic, they have to pay, that are private, they have to pay 3 or 4 times tax. And you know how many mosques these are? They said 3,000. It's a common sense. They were trying to take over everything. If they're so good and their church stuff is so good, why did they have such a violent life of ideas? It's not good for any country. That's common sense. A leader takes care of their country, not for the people to live in violence. That's a violent culture under this Islamic regime, that the way that they were trying to protest to take over your country. If America did that in any of the Saudi Arabia countries or Dubai or even any of those Islamic countries that are just Islamic, they would be put in jail and killed, maybe even put to death. And they don't mix. The culture doesn't mix. Like America and British, they have more similar cultures. In Italy and British have more similar cultures. But it doesn't mix because they have violent ideas and they have slavery ideas and demeaning injustice ideas that is the atrocity of the human authentic being. And torture, they beat their wives. But and also they sell their children for money because at 8 years old. And they could do it when you're not watching. We don't know that. And we saw, is that true? Or was that just a video, AI video, where the mothers were lifting up their babies and say that I would sacrifice my baby to Allah? That's just a bunch of, that's terrible. So you know what to do now. And you better do it. Otherwise, you're going to have more and more violence and you're going to kill your own police. You're going to put, I don't know all the military terms, but the leader, like of a military leader or leader, they put and they kill their own people, their own workers, their own military people, like Russia. And I adore the Russian people because I knew a few people that I loved so much that were Russian. But I love Russia so much because remember, I'm close to Jesus. And Jesus is very sad about Russia. That's why I drew the picture of that hat where Jesus had a Russian hat. It's written. And I saw that the light, the colors when I was praying, and he has a tear. He's crying because he loves Russia. He loves Ukrainian people. He loves UK, but he's really mad. He's mad because they've been treated unfairly in their own land when they gave him everything. And there were some things that I was going to talk about Putin in his speech about America or some other country. They couldn't control their country because we let all the immigrants in. Russia didn't have a lot of immigrants come in. Is that true? So the thing is what you're going to do now is you're going to follow those directions. Otherwise, you're going to have more violence. You're going to kill your own police. You're going to send them out to death. You're going to kill your own nation, and you'll always have revolution. And you're not going in a big thing right now. You're not going to have a severe ID controls. You can't do it. That's globalization. And it's the wrong way to handle the people. And who are you to say, leader, president, to treat the people that way? You just got in. You just got in. You didn't work blood, sweat, and tears to build that UK. UK, because I know a lot about UK's history because I majored in English literature. I know more than Italian, and I love UK because I studied English literature, okay? So you, in English literature, when you study history because it's history. Why would you sell your damn history and the most beautiful, rich history to your ideas of globalization, of controls of IDs? Because and also you're not, we've already finished because the UK British people have it. They're finished. They have their land. They have their people. And now they're going to come in. You will not be able to walk the streets, and you'll be hated for the rest of your life, and you'll be out too if you make severe controls with the ID. I hate to tell you, you cannot do that. I'm responsible. Miss Meese was my friend. And that's why I get really mad when the old people treat me meanly, because I was friends with a lot of old people, okay? And when they were sick, even by their side to help them to make them feel confident that God is waiting for them. Many people I prayed with. But Miss Meese, she's English. She wasn't my mother. She was my friend. I was more like her mother. She was older, but she was my best friend. And Miss Meese, Catherine Meese, graduated from Occidental, and she was supposed to get the valedictorian, but she was a woman. But she is English, all English. And I think she had one other thing, English and Irish. But her family was from Brown University, okay? In Oxford. Are you listening? And she, is close to me and always will be. And she's passed away, of course, but I would never let her down. So you better get going there, and you better do this. And you better put all your people on a pedestal, high, and on a pedestal. They're brave to protect their UK. And you're not going to give it, you're not, it's okay, it's already said you're not giving it away. But now you need to treat your people properly. And you need to supplement yourself and not give all to these people that are your enemy, but not even an enemy. They're the evil of all evil, like Reagan would say. They're right there in your country when you gave them everything. And Jesus is mad about it. That's why you see that roar. You see the roar. You see the roar in Spain. God is roaring from the heavens. He created these lands for you, Spain. He created them for Australia, for America. He created for UK, Ireland, Scotland, Finland, Sweden, Belgium, all those, Italy, Canada, all the areas. I know I'm missing some, but you got to understand that those nations have a seal of God's love. And it's not broken. It just has to be mended. And you have to realize you gave your heart and you did your covenant. But you got some leaders in there that don't know what to do, and we're trying to help you. So listen to the God's voice, the God of Abraham in Christ Jesus. Listen to what he says. It better be done. Otherwise, it's going to be worse. And this is a warning, and it's truth. It's not a threat. I don't threaten. I have to look up that word anyways in Hebrew and Greek and see